there is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in love to those around me.
Many young people rarely get good enough mentoring on leadership, but thanks to the New Vision School of Leadership, I am not among the number. The New Vision School of Leadership has given me the ability to look at challenges from a different perspective. In today's world, challenges arise every other day, and to be an effective leader, you need to tackle them with intelligence, strategy, and expertise. What I have learned. We live in a time of apathy, and as a leader, it is my sole aim to bring out the different strengths that are in my peers, because when we are at our best, that is when we produce our best, and together as a whole, we are the leaders of tomorrow. The program has given me a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get to interact with other leaders. And from their experiences, I get to draw so many lessons, and that is something I do not take for granted. I would highly recommend the New Vision School of Leadership to anyone who has a thirst for leadership mentoring. My name is Victorina Kyo, a former graduate from the International Hotel and Tourism Institute, and a very proud member of the New Vision School of Leadership. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Once again, I do want to welcome you to our conference. The theme for this year is Defining Your Future. My name's Boniface Gitao. I'm the founder of New Vision School of Leadership, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you great information that will help you, equip you, and empower you. So this is the first day of the conference, and this is my first session. And I will be talking to you about the power of vision. Now, this is so important. It's a topic that is so relevant. And when I say that, this is what I mean. Where do you see yourself in the future? When you look ahead, where do you see yourself? You know, it's often been said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will lead you there. You know, if you think about it, if you go to your local town or city and there is a bus station, that simply means you can enter any bus and it will lead you to anywhere. You have to be specific in life. You have to know where you want. You have to know what direction you want to go. And so that's why it's so important to understand the power of vision. Let me give you 3 definitions of vision. My definition of vision is having a clear mental picture of where you want to be in the future. That in your mind, it is so clear, you have it, you can see it, you know where you want to go. So it's a clear mental picture of where you want to be in the future. Our second definition is by the late Dr. Miles Monroe, who defines vision as the ability to see the end from the beginning. In other words, you're looking from where you're at and you can see the end, and we'll talk more about this. And the third definition, which I came across at one time, is seeing the invisible and making it visible. Seeing the invisible and making it visible. In other words, you're seeing what cannot be seen and making it possible. So let's get to it. Why is vision important? The reason why vision is important is because what we choose to focus on, what we choose to see, there is where we're going to go. Your life will follow that. That will be the end of where you're going to go, what you choose to see. So the question becomes, what are you seeing? What are you focusing on? So let me share with you 5 things you need to know about vision. Number 1, your vision or lack thereof defines your future. Your vision or the lack thereof defines your future. There's a scripture in the Bible in Proverbs 29 verse 18 that says, where there is no vision, people perish. Think about that for a moment. Where there's no vision, what that simply means is that where there's no vision, there's no future. Think about that. That you need, if you want to have a future, if you want to have a bright future, if you want to have a great future, you have to have vision. Another way of putting this, when it says in the Bible says where there is no vision, the people perish, it simply means where there is no vision, there is no direction. Because vision provides direction for your life. It is a compass. It's like the map that shows you you're moving from point A going to point B. That's what vision does for you. And so you need to ask yourself every day, where am I going with my life? Why do I do what I do? What is the end result that I ought to see? What is the end goal that I want to achieve in my life? Why am I pursuing the career I'm pursuing? Why am I pursuing this degree? What is my vision in life? So that is so key. Why? Because this is going to determine your future. You see a man or a woman with no vision, they have no future. They are going to go nowhere. They will not accomplish anything. If you want to accomplish great things in life, my friends, you need to have a clear vision. Anyone that you can think about in this world who's successful, that you admire, that you look up to, who is a role model, they have a vision. They started off with a vision. They didn't end up where they're at without a vision. They weren't just following any road, but they had a clear vision of what they wanted to achieve. So number 2 is vision sees beyond your failures. In life, we'll face different kinds of failures. Let me tell you this, that the failures of yesterday and the troubles of today, but vision sees beyond that. Vision doesn't allow one to define their life based on their problems, based on their failures, based on their issues. Issues will always come up. Just because people are successful doesn't mean they've never faced issues. But what they do is that they focus on the vision. And the question for you that I have for you, are you focusing on the failures of yesterday? Because when you focus on the failures of yesterday, you cannot focus on the future. They will hold you ransom. They will hold you back. Let me tell you this, my friend. Everyone has problems in life. They say even the king of the jungle, that is the lion, fights off flies. Everyone has issues. Everyone has problems. Everyone has failures in life. But let it be that vision, that vision is what determines your future. Vision is what you're pursuing. And don't let circumstances and failure define your future. It's quite unfortunate that the folks, all they talk about is their problems. All they talk about is their issues. All they talk about is their failure. That is their vision. And guess what? That is what they will get out of life. Because in life, you get out of it what you invest in. So what are you investing? What are you choosing to see? What are you choosing to focus on? These are things for you to think about. Have you just been dwelling about your problems and talking about the issues? Don't let circumstances define your future. Let vision define your future. Number 3, vision sees beyond your limitations. This is very important for you to know. Every human being has limitations. No one is perfect. Even the best of the best, whether it's in business, whether it's in athletics, in sports, in soccer. Some of you love soccer so much, and different things, or whether it's in art, whether it's in a career, in education, whatever that might be, we all have different limitations. And many times people use limitations as a yardstick to define what they can or cannot do. And so they say, because based, sometimes it might be physical limitations, maybe some physical disability that one might be going through. But what's interesting is that I've heard this quote, that disability does not mean inability. Being weak in one area doesn't mean that that defines everything about you. That in spite of your circumstances, in spite of your situation, when you have vision, you look beyond your limitations. There's so many people, if you took time to sit down and hear the stories of people, where they've come from, probably for you it might be financial limitations. Looking at the financial crisis and limitations and the struggles that you've gone through, that doesn't mean you should limit your vision based on your bank account. So many people do that all the time. They say, this is what I have, so I cannot pursue a vision beyond what I have. But let me tell you this, what will get you out of your situation is the vision that you have. Are you seeing beyond your limitations? Are you seeing beyond the challenges that you might be going through? Maybe you might be coming from some family dynamics that have held you hostage. You're looking at your background and saying, nobody has ever made it in my family. We've had issues and issues and issues. Let me tell you this, what you need is vision. You need to see a better future. You need to see yourself having a good marriage, a good relationship, raising great kids, looking at yourself being successful. Because you cannot become what you cannot see. Let me say that again. You cannot become what you cannot see. You have to see yourself succeeding. You have to envision yourself becoming that which you want to become. You must say, no, that I'm not going to define myself based on the limitations that I have. Quite often, my friends, so many people let limitations define their life. I remember one time hearing the story of a gentleman who at the age of his early 20s had already graduated, had a degree in business, a master's degree. He was doing real estate, traveling the world, and being a motivational speaker and speaking in different nations, sharing a message of hope and speaking to thousands of people. Under the age of 25, he was doing extraordinary things. Now, when you hear that story, that in itself is a great accomplishment for anyone at the age of 25 and under, being able to buy a home, be in business, and do all these wonderful things. But what if I told you that this man was born with no arms and no feet? And maybe some of you have heard of Nick Vujicic. In fact, he's a very, very successful motivational speaker and preacher who he has done phenomenal, has written books. But his circumstances, in fact, when he shares his story, he talks about how that when he was born, and the doctors and the nurses saw the state that he was born, they told the mom, if we knew this was the state your child was going to be born, we would have told you to abort this child. But the mother never gave up, and she was a Christian, said, I cannot do it. I wouldn't have done such a thing even if I knew prior this is the kind of child who would be born. And he talked about how he could play soccer with the other kids and the children were laughing at him, and at the age of 8, he wanted to commit suicide. But something happened when he had an encounter with God. And God reminded him that I treasure you and I love you and I have a good plan and purpose for your life. And he had a vision beyond his physical limitations. And today he has traveled the world and does mighty things. He's married. I think he has 3 children and just doing great things. That's what I call looking beyond your limitations. What limitations have held you back? What limitations are holding you that have kept you from seeing beyond what will get you out? Some of us are trying, have been trying and trying to get rid of some limitations, and some of them you might not be able to get rid of them, but what you need to do is to see beyond. When you see beyond, because some things you cannot change. There are those things we can change, there are weaknesses we can improve on, but there are certain limitations, whether it's physical issues or whether it's a background that we were born or family situation we're in. You can't change your family. But guess what? You can change your future. You can have a different family. Your own family will be different. Your life can be different if you have a vision beyond. Some of you have looked at the finances and struggled and looked at and said, well, this is where I'm at. These are the struggles I've grown up with and I've dwelt there, and wondering, how do I make it out of this mess? What you need to do is to have a vision beyond your present limitations. Number 4, and this is powerful. Vision creates that which does not exist. Let that sink for a moment. That vision, when you have vision, it creates that which does not exist. You see, God, one of the greatest assets, and I'll talk about this later on this week, that God has given us is the mind. Your mind has the ability to create ideas. I want you to look around you. Most of the things that you see never existed. I'm wearing a watch right here. This watch that you see, one time never existed. People didn't have, the humans never had watches before, but somebody came up with an idea and created a watch. The phone that you're using, a few years ago, a few decades ago, we never used to have cell phones. But today we have a cell phone where somebody had an idea and created something that never existed. God created each of us with the ability to be creative. So when you have vision, that's why somebody can go somewhere and start a business. Every business that you see existed first as an idea. Every business opportunity. You can create, you can see. That's what vision does. It creates that which does not exist. It sees opportunities in times of crisis. That's what happens when you have vision. Vision, instead of seeing lack, instead of seeing crisis, it sees opportunities. Right now, we're in a global pandemic, COVID-19. I was just listening to a story that really inspired me, of a woman who decided to start sewing some masks for covering herself, during this COVID-19. And she has made so much money. During a crisis, while we're complaining, I'm not saying we should ignore the virus, but while all that is going on, somebody else has seen an opportunity and maximizing it. I can tell you one thing for sure, that like technology, you're hearing of Zoom. Right now we're using YouTube and social media, WhatsApp, to have this conference where somebody saw an opportunity in the midst of crisis. I remember, like most of you in Kenya, I remember years ago, a couple of decades ago, the only people you would see drinking bottled water are tourists who are visiting the country from other nations. Those are the only people. But then when we started having crisis of water in Kenya, guess what happened? People started producing bottled water, and they started selling. And so you can buy that anywhere. Any problem you see, that's an opportunity. Every crisis you see, there is an opportunity. So you need to have a vision, my friend. Vision, you will begin to create, you'll come up with ideas. I don't know how many of you know that M-Pesa is one of a kind technology in the world. That's an invention of Kenya. Yeah, by the way, just you know it, that Kenya came up with such kind of an invention, a system of M-Pesa like no other in the world. That Harvard has studying this system, that where you can operate with finances without a bank account. Why? Somebody had a vision. So a problem that not everybody is able to get to have a bank account, but let me create something. Why? They had a vision. And as young people, you have the ability to see visions, to create vision. To create, if you, and some of you have heard me say this, that if you can't find a job, create one. Be able to create one. Create an opportunity. So as people are looking at crisis, may your eyes be open to see the opportunities in the midst of the crisis. The problems, your personal issues that you're going through, the personal challenges that you're going through right now. Can you see them? Can you see opportunities? Many of you have taken advantage of the mentorship program that we have and the training, and you've decided to invest this time during COVID-19 while you're home before you go back to college in doing what? In acquiring more skills, getting equipped that you may become better at what you do. Now, the final point I want to talk about is that vision attracts resources. See, quite often most people assume or they think, if only I can get money, I'll be fine. It's true, we need money as a resource to be able to accomplish so much and do a lot. But I want you to know that vision is more important than resources. Vision is more important. So for some of you, you've been looking and saying, hey, I'm just trying to get some money. I just can't find some. I don't know what to do in order to deal with my situation. Here's what I want to tell you. Have vision. When you have vision, resources will come your way. And I will explain that to you in just a minute here. I want you to think about this. Any business person, or even you, deciding to start a business and you don't have resources, if you go to the local bank and say, you know what, I want to borrow some money to start a business, you know what the bank or the bank manager or bank officer will ask you for is a business plan. In other words, they want to know, show me your vision of what you will do with this money, and it will bring a return. And if your vision is realistic and can be done, then we can do business with you. Now remember, a bank is not there to help you. They're there in business. They will not invest in something that they know for sure will not produce results. So what is your vision? They'll ask you, what is your vision? We want to know, what is the end plan? So any business begins, before you go to the bank, what happens? An idea comes to mind. And you begin to develop that idea. And quite often, an idea should be based on a need you need to meet in the marketplace. Not just because people are simply doing it. And that's why so many businesses fail and people just simply pursuing a career because other people are doing it and not really having a vision for themselves. Because when you have vision, you will persevere, you will endure, you will say when you're facing with difficulties and setbacks, and I guarantee you that when you pursue vision, there will be setbacks. There will be roadblocks along the way. But the difference is when you have a vision, you will stay at it until you get to the end. Because you don't make permanent decisions on temporal situations. So when you meet a roadblock, you know this is temporary. I know where I'm going. I know there is a way right here, even where there seems to be no way. So my friends, these 5 things are for you to remember. That number 1, vision or the lack thereof will define your future. So what future? What is your vision? because that will define your future. Number two is that vision sees beyond your failures. Don't dwell on your failures. Failures will always be there, but see beyond. Number three, vision sees beyond your limitations. What is that thing you kept saying? Well, if only this limitation were taken away. If only I was born in this kind of a family. Forget it, you can't change it. But what will make a difference is if you have a vision that sees beyond, that you can build a better life, that you can have a good career, that you will be successful in life. Number four is that vision creates that which does not exist. It all begins with the mind. Inspiring your mind, and I will show you how to broaden your vision and how your vision is formed. We'll talk about that in the next session. And number five, don't you forget this, is that vision attracts resources. Tell young people all the time, even when you're going to look for a job, don't go telling people about the problems that you have, and that's why they need to hire you based, giving a story of sympathy. Let me tell you this, they're looking for somebody with a vision. They're looking for somebody who will bring value to the table. So when you walk into that interview, put your problems behind you. Put on a good face, look good, and tell them this is the value that I'm bringing into this company. That is what they're looking for. A young person with a vision. No matter your limitations, no matter your challenges, no matter the issues that you might be facing, my friends, when you have vision, it will take you to a whole new level. It is a prayer of my heart that as you listen to this topic, that somehow you will be stirred up, you will begin to see things differently. That could it be what you've always seen as a problem, maybe, or a stumbling block, maybe the stepping stone that you need to get to the next level in your life? Could it be that what you've rejected is actually what you need to work with to get you to the next level? So that is it for today, and I will be sharing some more this week. May the Lord bless you, and stay tuned also to listen to other speakers who will be talking on different topics. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.